welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and today I'm back with my good buddies at Courtesy Dodge Jeep Chrysler Ram in Tampa because I want to talk a little bit about the Dodge Durango and its replacement. There's been a lot of stuff in the news about this particular car. We know that for 2024, it looks like the Durango itself is getting discontinued, and we know the Hemis are going away, all that good stuff. Well, we're looking at a brand new platform going into 2024, and the name, it will really surprise you. So anyway, guys, if you're brand new to the channel, don't forget, hit subscribe right over here, and off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
And just like that, we have the Durango behind me. That, of course, is my favorite trim, the Durango Hellcat. Hard to imagine why that is my favorite with 710 all-wheel drive horsepower. But it's a bitter pill to swallow for me, kind of like the Chrysler 300, right? After the 2023 model year, all indications are that the Durango is going away. And this has been a very successful vehicle for the Dodge lineup since like 1998. So a really long time they've had these Durangos out there. They've sold a ton of them. Well, they need to refresh the platform. We already know the chassis is going away, the Hemi's going away, all that good stuff. So they had to figure out what to replace this third row SUV with. Now, I will freely admit I'm not much of an SUV guy, but this Dodge Durango Hellcat is an absolutely gorgeous car. I love all the cues. Now, of course, I have reviewed this for you already, one of the fastest SUVs on the market. I love the supercharged sound. It's all the good stuff you get in a Hellcat, just in a much larger platform. That's why I like the TRX so much as well. And the inside of this car, gosh, I would argue that the Durango Hellcat is actually the nicest when it comes to interior. Not that I don't love the TRX and the Trackhawk and all that other stuff, but my goodness gracious, look at the inside of this car and how nice it is. That really big infotainment screen. This thing is absolutely beautiful front and back, and I'm really sad to think about the fact that the Durango is going away for good. So I really hope that Dodge steps up and gives us something else that's really cool in its place. Now, there are all sorts of articles out there about what is replacing the Durango, and the general consensus right now is brand new chassis, brand new platform, brand new power plant, all that good stuff. We know the Hurricane line is out there because they're going away from the Hemi, and it is very capable, but it looks like the new replacement for the Durango is the Dodge Stealth, which I don't know if I really like. I've talked about it at length. I would love to see a brand new Dodge Stealth come out because I feel like that is an entire market segment that is being missed. And I'm not saying that Dodge should abandon the third row SUV segment. It's been a very successful segment for them, and they need to continue it. But to use the Dodge Stealth nameplate is a little bit weird to me. It's kind of like using the Mustang on the Mach-E. I don't like that. It's not a Mustang as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't mean it's not a great car. I just don't like that they stuck a Mustang badge on it. Well, this is kind of the same thing for me because I was always kind of in love with the old school Dodge Stealth. Of course, a very compact, sporty car. And of course, its sister car in the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. They had a VR4 turbo version of that. And I absolutely love those cars from back in the day. I've done videos about how much I love the Dodge Stealth and how cool it would be to see a brand new kind of small, compact, sporty car, because Dodge just doesn't have anything like that. And I feel like they could really sell a lot of those if it's done right. Put maybe the Hurricane 4 in it, do an upgraded trim with like the Hurricane 6 twin turbo, kind of like a VR4 type offering, all-wheel drive. Man, what a home run vehicle that would be, at least in my mind. But it looks like, once again, we've already got the Hornet out there, right? Now the Durango's going away, and they're using the Stealth nameplate on a brand new third row SUV. Kind of weird. One more quick look at the inside of the Hellcat Durango. I just couldn't resist. Man, this thing, gosh, this thing is so nice. I always forget how nice these things are until I sit in them again and I drive them. And man, it's just a really good package in the Durango Hellcat. I am a big fan. For those of you Dodge Stealth aficionados out there, you realize that the last time it was offered to the market here in the US was in 1996, and they didn't put out very many cars in 1996. Of course, they made the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 and a couple other trims a few years longer than that, and that was really weird because it was a joint venture between Mitsubishi Motors and, of course, Mopar. But I kind of like that, and you know, had those minds come together and come up with something really cool. vehicle. I've heard comments all over the board. Some people love the Stealth, some people hate it. I'm actually a big fan of it. But I really do believe that if Dodge was to do a new Stealth and make it a small, kind of a compact, little darty thing with really good power at a price point that actually was more affordable than most of what's out there, because as we know, cars are more and more and more expensive, and they're just harder and harder to afford. The Durango Hellcat I'm sitting in right now, stickers at $108,000. Not that it's not absolutely awesome and really nice, but just cars are really expensive. So, man, I really wish that they could figure out a way to come out with that vehicle, and why not put the Stealth nameplate back on it? But to go to an SUV is a little bit weird to me. I mean, we already have the Hornet out there, so they went basically from a in my mind, they took the Charger and made it a small SUV. And if you look at all the price points, they all come in basically exactly the same as the outgoing Charger. And that's kind of the replacement to me. As we know, everybody's going small SUV, crossover. That's just the way of the world right now. Everybody's going hybrid and EV, all sorts of weird stuff like that. And it's a strange world. Now, we already know that the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee sits on an all-new chassis. So we're going to start to see more and more of that moving into the 2024 model year. The new chassis, like I said, this particular chassis, along with the Charger, the Challenger, all that good stuff, I mean, they're on pretty ancient chassis, and they do need an update. But it is a little bit sad to think about the fact that they probably could have used the Durango nameplate on the new Durango, which seems to make sense to me. Of course, we've got the Grand Cherokee L, and you've got some other stuff, but really Dodge and Jeep and Mopar in general, they're really starting to look heavily like SUV manufacturers. So for the hardcore enthusiasts out there, what do they really have to offer from, you know, a muscle perspective now? Let's think about what the 2024 model lineup looks like so far. And I'm really hoping that Dodge is keeping us in the dark on really everything they have. All the cards are not on the table yet, because right now we've got the Hornet, you've got various trims in that. Obviously, now we've got a third row SUV and what looks to be the Stealth, and you have an EV. And of course, there'll be different power levels of the EV, but the new Charger Daytona is going to be an EV. We don't even know if it's going to have the internal combustion Hurricane in it or not. It's very unlikely based on how different those vehicles have to be set up. And that leaves a bunch of huge holes in the Dodge lineup. But right now, I'm enjoying driving around this Durango Hellcat. We do have it for the rest of this year at least, so there's that. Just listen to this thing. All-wheel drive. Oh, this thing should not be this fast and this much fun to drive. Man, I am really sad that this vehicle is going away. I actually considered buying a Durango Hellcat at one point, but I just didn't know if it would do the channel that much good. But in terms of just really being usable on the street, all-wheel drive, a lot of power, this thing does everything well. So what do you guys think? It sure seems like Dodge and Mopar, they are really SUV heavy right now, and there's really nothing coming out that really speaks, that resonates to the true Mopar kind of musclehead, if you will, right? The true hardcore enthusiasts that love the Charger, the Challenger, the old school muscle, the big, you know, the big blocks, all the stuff that, you know, traditional muscle cars really like. I really don't know what Dodge is planning on doing. I'm really hoping they're going to give us something that we, like I said, a Challenger, as I've mentioned so many times before, but time will tell. Huge shout out to my guys at Courtesy Dodge Jeep Chrysler Ram in Tampa for letting me borrow their beautiful Durango Hellcat. This vehicle is actually not accounted for right now. They just got it in. I thought, well, it makes a perfect little backdrop to this particular video. And anyway, if you want a Durango Hellcat, come see these guys. And that about does it for this one. Wanted to keep it pretty short, pretty sweet, just a little bit more Dodge news for you. What do you guys think about the fact that the Durango is going away and they're using the Stealth nameplate on a new third row SUV? Like I said, to me, it's a little strange to think about Stealth and then an SUV, but what do you do? So anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys think about it in the comments down below, and I will catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.